Yasas Philamu. Hello my friends, and welcome once again to the glorious but blustery island of Cyprus today. I'm out on my country walk and I'm just approaching this beautiful oak tree that back in July, August and September I took shelter under from the midday sun. But every day I pass this tree, I stoop and I collect a pocket full of acorns, because I have a plan. These acorns have been germinating under this tree for many years, and if you can see, these little oak trees are just beginning to sprout through the leaf litter. So I have an idea. I pop a handful of these into my pocket each time I pass, and if you have visited this island or you are lucky to live on this island, you'll know that it has been ravaged by wildfires for many years, and so many of these glorious trees have been destroyed. Well, if these little acorns can grow so readily, I'm going to plant as many of these in this mountain region as I can. And I've also managed to collect a few pine cones, and if you tease out the little seeds from the pine cones, these will grow into little trees as well, because on the opposite side of the valley, in a place called Argaka, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a large area of mountainside that is pretty barren. Well, that's due to a huge fire just a few years ago that burnt for several days, but it destroyed hundreds of acres of beautiful pine forests. So I'm going to collect as many pine cones as I can as well, and just on my travels just pop them into the ground here and there. And I know I'll never see them mature, and I'll never sit in the shade beneath them, but generations to come hopefully will. So I'm going to find a little spot up by the rocks and get planting, so come along with me. Well, I have my trusty trowel at the ready, and I'm headed along this track to an area where I know there are very few trees, but what little trees there are seem to flourish. So I would imagine that the soil is very fertile here, because we have some little vineyards on either side of the track here that seem to do very well and produce some of Cyprus's finest wine. So I'm hoping that my little pine seeds and acorns, with the recent rains and the rains that are due over the next few days and the coming weeks and months, will get them off to a good start. So I'm going to plant them in this rocky region, because I know that this area will never be ploughed. So those seeds and the little trees that are going to emerge, hopefully, will never be disturbed, and as I said, provide shade for generations to come. So let's get on over to the rocks and get planting. Well, here we are. It's very exposed, and we can see the mountain top, and the Akamas Peninsula will be the other side of this, and the mountain range over my shoulder leading all the way up to the Troodos and Mount Olympus. So because of the wind, my little seedlings, when they sprout, are going to need to cling on to this mountain top, but oaks and pines are very resilient, so I'm going to plant my pocket full of seeds in this area, I think. So let's get to it. these wonderful little acorns that will one day hopefully be a mighty oak. And as I say, they will not be disturbed. And I have some pine seeds too that I'm going to pop into the ground here. Now, if you are out on your travels in Cyprus and you come across pine cones or acorns, I'd urge you to do the same. It's very simple. The ground might be a little stony, but with a trowel or some sharp implement, you can break through the ground and get these seeds going. So I'm going to carry on. I've got quite a few acorns in my pocket and a few in my little satchel there that I think I can plant around 70 to 80, maybe 100 little seeds in this area. So who knows, I think a tree would be one of the finest legacies that we could possibly leave this planet. And hopefully, as I say, one day someone will happen along in the distant future and take shelter under one of my little trees. But for now, I'm going to carry on planting. So. This is a particularly favourite spot of mine because it has this phenomenal snake's head rock, as I like to call it. It's absolutely stunning, and the view from here on this very clear but crisp day all the way down to Latchi and Polis, and in the distance that beautiful coastline, that curving coastline that takes you to Polis and Pekiamos, and that mountain range that I look at every morning and it makes me smile. But this particular rock, I come up here often, it's just fantastic. It just rises up from the ground like a claw or a snake's head. So there are a couple of little olive trees, a little olive tree here and an almond growing in the rocks there. But I think maybe in the future it could benefit from 1 or 2 oaks. So I still have a pocket full of acorns. So I'm going to plant several in this region. And like I say, because of the rocks, this area will never be ploughed or disturbed. So hopefully my acorns will germinate and one day provide some trees, because this really has been ravaged. I mean, the fire service have been inundated this year. You may have seen the helicopters that scoop water from the dams and the sea in their huge buckets and travel backwards and forwards to the various fires, doing what they can. But we all have to do our bit. Don't drop litter. Don't try and barbecue in these wild areas during the summer when everything is tinder dry. So let's get to it. The soil is beautifully damp from the recent rains and relatively easy to dig. So we still have many acorns to go, so let's do what we can. There you go. Grow into a beautiful tree. Oh, that's all of my acorns planted. I shall pick up a pocketful on the way back to the village, and the next time I'm up in this region, pop some more in. But for now I shall sit by this beautiful snake's head rock and just take in that fabulous view. So you have yourselves a wonderful day. I'm going to see if I can make it up onto this large boulder here, so I think the view will be stunning. Oh wow. You know, I have to pinch myself on a daily basis, and I think many of you do that live in these beautiful rural regions, that this is on your doorstep, and this mile after mile of natural wonder. So I'm going to settle down here. I have my little notebook in my shoulder bag and pen a few paragraphs, I think, because as I say, there is so much inspiration in Cyprus. I feel very deeply for this island, and I'm so passionate to share it with everyone. So the sun is dipping now over the Akamas, and it's looking as though it's going to be a truly glorious sunset that this island is famed for. I'm just making my way back across these rocks towards the track. But yeah, this really is a stunning region and unspoilt due to these rocks. So if you want to come to this region, head for the village of Drusha. This is just beyond Kathikas on the Polis and Lachi road. Head into the village and bear right and follow the road into the mountains, and you can't miss these rocks because they rise so majestically from the mountainside. So I'm going to head back, because as soon as that sun dips below the mountaintop there, it will start to get dark. So have yourselves a glorious evening, and I'm going to celebrate the rest of my birthday. But what a way to spend it, planting a future forest. Well, I managed to fill the pocket of my little shoulder bag with acorns on the way back to the village, so I'll continue on this quest of planting in the fire ravaged areas of Cyprus. But it certainly gives you a warm feeling knowing that if just one of these little acorns or those pine seeds, if just one of those reaches maturity in many years to come, then I think that's a phenomenal legacy. And as I say, the feeling you get from it is quite euphoric, so why not give it a go yourself? Kalispera. Good evening, my friends.